Hello and welcome to Rolling with Two. I'm Will, and with me as always is the ravishing radish herself,
Sarah.
And today we're doing a two-player perspective and accessibility for Community Garden. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
All right, Community Garden is played over 7 rounds in which players are aiming to collect resources in order to play garden cards. On their turn, players will place one gardener on the board to gain resources, gain garden cards, or to use the tool cards. They can optionally spend resources to plant a garden card from their hand by paying the required resources. At the end of the game, the player who has scored the most points through planting the garden cards and collecting harvest cards will win the game. All right, Will, so how does the game change for 2 players?
So for 2 players, it'll come down to the number of gardeners and the number of tool cards you use. So for tool cards, in a 2-player game, you'll use 3 instead of 4. 3 and 4 player uses 4. For gardeners, you'll use 4. 3 players will also use 4. 4 players is the only one that goes down to 3 gardeners.
Yeah.
But it'll be 4 gardeners, 3 tool cards for a 2-player game. There's also going to be no bot.
Nope.
Even though you may want to plant nana peppers.
All right. So one issue we found at a 2-player count is that the cards that give benefits to other players just happen less because you just don't go through as many of the cards. Because in 2 players, you just don't move through the cards that quickly. What it does well, though, is because there's not that many other players, you can accomplish what you want much more assuredly because there's just less competition for the board spaces.
Yeah, this game does have passive blocking, which is something that really can slow the game down because the game has no engine to generate stuff. So you need to have as much access to the board as possible, and that's where 2 players comes in and gives you more access than any other one because no one's getting in your way.
Right. Now, it's not 100% blocking, like more traditional worker placement blocking. If you go to a spot, no one else can. In this one, multiple people can go to the same spot. They have to pay more in terms of green thumbs to be able to use the spot. And that's,
but they don't get more.
No, you don't get more. So like you go to the place to get a water token. If there's somebody already there, you have to pay a green thumb to still just get 1 water token. So
yeah.
The other thing is at 2 players, you are able to better plan and you have a better chance of succeeding at what you want because there's fewer people out on the board. So again,
no one's taking the plants that you do want. Nobody's taking up the spaces that generate the resources. Or if they are, it's going to cost you less because now there's not 2 or 3 people there. There's maybe only 1.
Yeah, exactly. So on to accessibility. So the downside with the garden cards is you need to be able to differentiate them by color, by the border of the color border. Anyways, they are brown, red, pink, and silver. And I would say it's not the best silver, but at least it's different. It looks like white with gray splotches, but I am real surprised that they used brown, red, and pink because
they're all red family?
Yeah, and if you have any deficiency in that, in red, that might be very difficult. And the thing is, there are cards that call out for that, and you need set collection for scoring.
Yes.
Also, the resource icons, most of them are okay in terms of contrast, except the seedling is a white icon on a yellow background, and it's very hard to see. The water one is okay because it's white on a light blue, but I really wish they had not just stuck to all our icons have to be white. Well, if that's what they were going to go with, they probably should have gone with orange or something darker than yellow.
Or a solid stroke line?
Yeah, or even a solid stroke line around it that would have helped it pop. The player boards are all colored at the top. What the problem here is that some of the text is in white and some of the text is in black. Well, the colored tops are pink, green, orange, and gray. So no matter which color you have, some of that text is going to be hard to read. Because if it's a darker color background, the black text is going to be hard to read. And if it's a lighter colored background, the white text is going to be hard to read. So it's the worst of both worlds.
Equal opportunity and accessibility.
Exactly. And then the last thing that's going to be a challenge is the cardboard bits are tiny. So they're just really hard to pick up and move around.
They are freakishly small.
Yeah. I mean, smaller than your thumbnail, definitely, so that's not a good thing when you're trying to pick them up.
Maybe a baby thumbnail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they are just so tiny.
Yeah, so that should have, been bigger. On the other hand, what it does right is the resource icons on the garden cards are always in the same place, which, I mean, it could have helped if it had framing around it so you knew where the top of the list started, because if it's the top icon's not there, well, then it's not there. But if you're having trouble seeing any of them, especially like the seedling one, you generally know where it is in that,
Yeah,
list.
where the composts are, where the seedling, where the shovel, where the water is.
Yep, exactly. The interesting part about the rules that said you can keep your hand of cards secret or not. It's a choice, which is interesting because Will and I often play a lot of these games open-handed so that I can read the cards to him so he doesn't have to get up and go use his closed circuit TV in the other room. So it's interesting that the designers recognize that it's not that necessary.
Yeah, it's completely up to you whether or
Yes.
not you want it
Secret.
secret or not.
There's not really much. You cannot directly affect anyone else's hand. At most, you might be able to take resources that they want first, but again, it's still not 100% blocking. So if that person needs water and they have green thumbs, they can still get the water they need.
Yeah.
So, the other thing, cognitively, it's very easy to learn. It's a very straightforward rule set, and there's no problems there. And the card types are clearly labeled on the back of each card, which I highly appreciate because we have played way too many games where it's all the same picture on the back of the cards, except they're slightly different color
Yeah.
or something.
But because they shuffle together, then you can't tell them apart. Or
Yeah. Or they're supposed to be separate decks, but
Yeah.
you can't see the difference between the green and the blue because they use shades really close to each other
yes.
or something. Anyways, they each have a different picture and a name on it. Names on the back of cards are the best thing in the world.
Yes.
Okay, conclusion.
For 2 players, would you recommend it?
I think only for 2 players. I don't think this game I don't think they have the proper scaling for higher player counts. Especially because at 4 players you use fewer meeples.
Yeah, I would think this game would be a bit of a slog the more players gets added in.
Yeah.
So 2 players is definitely probably the best experience.
Right, because at higher player counts you'd need more green thumbs, but that means spending more of your gardeners on the bench to get green thumbs, but you have fewer meeples to do anything with. Yeah, that's not a good combination.
I mean, maybe you'll see more interaction with the plants that do get planted going off.
But it'd take a long time to do that.
Yes.
So
Accessibility?
mostly okay. Those tiny pieces could pose some mobility challenges, but I think all the other issues we encountered are not going to stop most people from playing.
Yeah. They were just inconvenient
Yes.
at best. Or worst.
Worse, yeah.
All right. And Sarah,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to your radishness, what makes you so ravishing?
Don't know what.
I don't know. I was asking you.
I have no clue. I've never thought of myself as a ravishing radish.
Well, you are.
Thank you.
And why would you ever roll with just one when you could be
Rolling with 2?
And remember, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach out to us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with 2. That's TWO. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe.
And if you have time, check out the other content Nanaman has found for you, because remember, he's rolling with you.